One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and love, the thunderous roar. Insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
That's right, day by day. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back and happy Monday. I know it is not necessarily always a great thing for everyone. There's a reason why there's Monday blues, but listen, we try to make it as best as possible for you guys. We got a lot of breaking news, a lot of things to discuss in the media today. As you guys know, on the title right here, Trump's tariff takes effect, as well as Netanyahu visits DC, and then we have a tornado strike that got confirmed in Georgia. So we're going to be going over that, and then plus a whole bunch of other breaking news stories. So before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. Listen, it's the #1 metric on YouTube, man. So it helps out the show a lot when you guys do that. If you guys are brand new to the show, man, hit that subscribe button because it's also free. Please consider becoming a member, man. This is exactly why we can do what we do right here. And we don't do anything for like views over here. We don't get paid like that. We get paid actually mainly from you guys in the Breakfast Club. That's how that works. So we don't have to cater to views over here. So consider it. Starts at $2.99 a month, man. And it obviously helps out the show immensely. Little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my lifestyle, but of the show as well as Millennial Food Time. This is like better than my phone number. Actually, it is probably just as good, I would say. Also, there's the Discord that Naomi is actually putting into the chat periodically. So make sure that you guys are, if you're not in the Discord, make sure you guys join up. I think we got the majority of the Breakfast Club in there, so I'm very honored by that. Last but not least, man, of course, all donations are going to be read live. Every super sticker, super chat, gifted membership signups. Of course, all of those things are going to be shouted out. But if you guys would like to skip that brutal YouTube 30% cut, then we have these platforms right here. And of course, I will shout you out and your message. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll allow that to just go ahead and scroll for the remainder of the show. And I do want to say good morning to my people. You know, we got Naomi in here. Always appreciate her. We got American Uncensored, Brother AU up in here. We got Tiffany. Hopefully you're doing fantastic as well as Brother Lee. We got Rabbit of Chaos up in here as well as Miss Lotus. Appreciate you guys. That's right. Good morning, familia. That's right. Obi Joe, good to see you, my man. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this beautiful morning. We got Hardwire as well as the dude. I haven't seen Process in a minute, man. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us. We got Brother Frank as well, man. Good morning to you as well as Wildcard, man. All you legends coming through. Damn, I haven't seen my man Dean Savage right here in a minute. Good morning to you. We got a lot to discuss about your country, my man. So it's going to be today's kind of heavy in the news. So let's go ahead and get ready to go ahead and get into the world's madness. Yeah, I guess I did forget it today, Frank. That is true. I guess I forgot it. So I'm going to have to put it on. It's back over there on the dresser. So anyways, I'll go ahead and grab it as soon as we were presenting this. Yeah, because now I feel empty. I knew I felt empty earlier. Anyways, this is where we're starting off right here. And let's see what the first ordeal is. I think it's about the tariffs.
Thank you so much for waking up with us here on Live Now from Fox. I'm Jeanette Francine here with you on this Monday morning. It's April 7th. And as we come on the air, we are following the very latest as relates to the Trump presidency. I want to take you out to Washington, D.C. and give you a live look at the White House as we are 2 minutes shy from the top of the 6 o'clock hour on this Monday morning. We are following headlines as it relates to the U.S. and Israel this morning, learning that happening today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will visit Washington and discuss U.S. tariffs imposed.
We're back. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, got to thank my man Frank for, because I actually legitimately felt like I was missing something. And but hey, we're all good. So Wildcard is making a little call to action right here, man. We're stopping the show real quick. Make sure you guys hit that like button, man. It helps out the show immensely, man. Thank you, guys. Process says, I've been forced to ride my scooter. Tremendous respect for the program. My man, always appreciate you. We got Steve Posey as well. My man, I hear the Dow jumped 300 points up today. I do not know the answer to that. Just going to be transparent. I do not. So I'm going to have to... Obviously, I'm sure it'll be talked about here this morning. We got Brother Shadow as well. Thank you guys for coming in and hanging out with us this morning. You know, I'm very honored by that. Okay, so the first thing that we're talking about is today, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is to meet with President Trump today. So there's a lot that is going on with the Israeli government as well. There's going to be a part where David Menzer comes out, and I think he discusses not only, you know, the hostage situation, but I think as well as something to do with the United States, I think. So anyways, we got a lot to cover. So we're going to go ahead and try to move this along.
U.S. President Donald Trump, among other issues. A lot to break down this morning, so we want to bring into the conversation distinguished lecturer in national security and terrorism, Ken Gray. He's with the University of New Haven. Ken, always a pleasure having you join us. Good morning.
Good morning, Janae. Glad to be with you again.
Janae.
Glad to have you as always. So, Ken, we know that the Israeli Prime Minister and his delegation, they did arrive late Sunday, and we know that he is expected to meet with U.S. President Donald Trump today. Set the stage for us. What can we expect?
Yo, brother War Gorilla up in here, my man, saying good morning, Mike Beasy and all my delinquents. Blessings. Just popping in for a minute. Hey, man, much love, honor, respect to you, man. Thank you for hanging out with us this morning.
With this
Happy
visit,
Monday.
we know this is Netanyahu's second visit since President Donald Trump's second time.
No, I did not see that, OB Joe, but I'm sure that we will actually see a bit of that in this very live stream right here. I'm sure that they're going to bring it up for sure.
White House.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot on the table for the two to discuss. Primary concern is that of the tariffs. The United States imposed a 17% tariff on Israel. The United States is Israel's primary market, and we buy diamonds, we buy pharmaceuticals, we buy electronics from Israel. So a lot of Israeli goods come to the United States. A 17% tariff.
I didn't even know we fucking bought anything from them, for real,
on them,
except for maybe dreidels.
Hurt the Israelis, but Israel trying to get ahead of the game.
What's up, Joseph? Good morning. Stop the cap, homie.
US goods just recently, and so I'm sure they will be discussed.
Yo, I got to do a proper good morning to you guys. We got a whole bunch of you guys coming in. We got Redneck Side Motorcycle Whips, kind sir, good to see you, as well as allegedly good morning to you as well. And yes, it is a nice rainy day today. Well, actually, it calmed down before. Basically, right around the time that I woke up, it kind of calmed down in that regard. But it's supposed to rain a little bit more. But good morning to you and happy Monday. We got Frederick Frame up in here as well. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Back to this.
Discussing negotiations about that 17% the U.S. imposed on
Gunpowder
Israel.
Nitro, my man.
Second topic that they'll likely
all
discuss,
you legends.
of course, is the war in Gaza.
Freaking red.
President Trump said he had much to discuss with Netanyahu about Gaza. The Israelis have increased their activity throughout Gaza, once again conducting military operations against Hamas. And this is a very important topic for both leaders. Third issue would be that of Iran. Iran continues to be a threat, especially now with their nearing completion of their nuclear weapon. And so the question is, what do you do about Iran? And I'm sure that
Brother Papa Penguin, my man. By the way, real quick, this is what the Israeli, you guys know who the prime minister is of of Israel, but Netanyahu and President Trump are obviously to meet, but this is his statement regarding it. This is from the Israeli prime minister's office, so I don't know if it's actually Netanyahu saying this, but they do have his name next to the quote. So the two will discuss the tariff issue, the efforts to return our hostages, is Israel-Turkey relations, the Iranian threat, and the battle against the International Criminal Court, the ICC, obviously. All right, let's go ahead and see.
That will be a primary issue for the two to discuss. Two other topics that they might get to is that of the ICC. Prime Minister Netanyahu was in Hungary here just last week, and the president of Hungary said that he was pulling out of the ICC, the International Criminal Court, and that he was not going to recognize their warrant against Netanyahu.
I did not know that,
Would
Dean.
be that of
What the heck?
Turkey. Turkey has been increasing its reach into Syria, and that is a potential concern to Israel. And so that too may be on the agenda. But that's an awful lot for the two of them to be discussing in such a short time.
Definitely a lot to discuss. And as you mentioned, that can we actually have a statement via X from the Israeli prime minister's office, pretty much just backing up what you just said. It says, quote, this is surrounding Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit, specifically from many of the families out in Israel. We've seen them on the weekends out in Hostage Square in Tel Aviv, many of them saying the focus just needs to be strictly on the hostages and a potential ceasefire.
This has been an ongoing issue there
Damn,
in Israel, is that Netanyahu,
good luck with that
his
shit.
primary mission is to get rid of Hamas. And of course, the family members and friends of those hostages.
Refresh your page, Brother Beezer. That's sometimes YouTube does that, but yeah, they got it together, homie. I promise you.
They'll be in hell. That is their primary issue. And so, how Israel will deal with this renewed war effort inside Gaza Strip. They're trying to force Hamas back to the negotiation table. After phase one ended, all talk seemed to have ceased between the two. And so how do you get Hamas back to the table when they know that Israel's primary mission is to get rid of Hamas? That's a
Still
real
slackers. I hear you.
That has
That's
been
funny.
a real problem ever since they started negotiations.
Yeah, and not only that, Ken, I mean, another looming issue is how can you trust a terroristic
Brother Todd
organization
J,
to
my
actually
man.
uphold the ceasefire in the first place?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the IDF is there along the borders of Gaza Strip, and so they don't have to trust them as much as they just have to keep watch over them and react to them. And Hamas is really on its hind foot, and that they've really been damaged greatly. A lot of their leadership has been wiped out.
Steve.
Hamas
You have to
has
do what you
lost,
got to do.
40% of or more of its fighters, and so Hamas is not in a good position to really be able to wage war against Israel. They are greatly damaged, but there still are the negotiating chips that they have, the hostages, and they have yet to talk about returning the military members and the other males that they are holding hostage at this point.
Rough.
Ken Gray, always a pleasure to have you join us bright and early here on Live.
Man, it's going to be a long day about this, unfortunately. Just giving you guys a heads up. obviously. I think you guys can tell, but there's going to be a lot of this small hat talk for sure today.
Now from Fox, thank you so much for that detailed breakdown and your
We still have a lot of
perspective
other
on
shit,
this
but I'm
visit. I
just
hope you
saying.
have a great rest of your Monday.
Thank you.
As we further discuss this anticipated discussion today, again, between President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, I kind of want to give you a detailed breakdown as to the timeline of this visit. So we do know that the Israeli Prime Minister and the delegation, they did arrive Sunday, but the official welcome with President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is slated to happen at 1
Wild
p.m.
card, apparently there was some sort of announcement that I forget exactly how many were alive that they claimed. There was like 22 or 25 claimed to be alive or something like that. But I've never seen any footage of that. I haven't seen any proof. So that's just what they're saying. So I really don't know, man. We got Brother Bob up in here saying morning, Mike, and everyone in the chat. Hey, Brother Bob up in the building from up there in Canada. Hopefully you're not freezing your ass off like probably most of the time. You're up there freezing your ass off, I would imagine. Yes, there is proof, Dean Savage says. Okay, yes. If Dean Savage says it, trust me, there is proof. Good.
p.m. Eastern time. From there, we know at 2 o'clock, there's expected to be a bilateral meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Yo, Moto Gato up in the building. Good to see you, man, as well. I'm sorry that I just missed it. But he said, first time here, BD Semi. Hey, big W, man. Thanks for hanging out. Yes, sir. We're doing world news, geopolitics. I'm a political analyst. So that's kind of what we do around here. Anyways, back to this.
President Donald Trump, as far as that bilateral meeting is concerned, no word if we'll get cameras inside. As you can imagine, top secret information will be shared. However, there will be a press conference following that meeting with President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu that will be open to the media. That is slated at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, and you can rest assured Live Now from Fox will have you covered. 6:05 here on the East Coast. Let's take a quick 2-minute commercial break. More top stories and headlines.
No commercial breaks around these parts. All right. We're going to go into breaking news. This is a funny headline, but European and Asian stocks nosedive as China accuses the U.S. of bullying. What the fuck?
Emotional damage.
All right. Let's go ahead and figure out what the hell's happening here, man. Wild.
6:07 here on the East Coast. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox.
Oh, that's
and
good,
morning
Dean.
too, if you're just now tuning in. We are following some breaking news on this Monday. I want you to take a good look
at the Discord,
at your
everyone.
Screen. You're getting a live look at the global market out in Frankfurt, Germany. Our content partners over at the Associated Press.
And the other thing that they're reporting on, EU trade ministers arrived for meeting to discuss U.S. tariffs. So, of course, they're going to have a big-ass powwow about this whole bullshit.
Do report some breaking news this morning. They say, quote, shares nosedived around the world this Monday as higher U.S. tariffs and a backlash from Beijing triggered massive sell-offs. Again, we're just getting this breaking news in, courtesy of our content partners of the Associated Press. They say European shares followed Asian markets lower, with Germany's falling 6.5%. In Paris, the CAC 40 shed falling as well. U.S. futures signaling further weakness ahead. The future for the S&P 500 lost 4.8%, while that for the Dow Jones Industrial Average shed 4.1%. The future for the NASDAQ lost 5.3%. Now, if we look back a few days, we know on Friday, the worst market crisis since COVID slammed into a higher gear as the S&P 500 plummeted 6% and the Dow plunged 5.5%. The NASDAQ composite dropped 5.8%. So we will be keeping a close eye on these market shares on this Monday morning. But right now, we do want to head out.
Yeah, Brother Steve, she actually does. And she wasn't even expecting it. She was like, man, that cat's going to hate me. And nope, totally loves her.
Live event. As we do know, the European Commission, they are having a press conference this morning discussing several topics, including U.S. President Donald Trump and U.S. tariffs.
That's right. At least you admit it, Chairman of the Board. You know what I mean? Like, I respect that. So we'll just leave it at that. What's happening? Why did it like their side is just sitting there watching? Why?
And all related
Oh,
matters.
fuck this. I could care less about this. I could care less about the commission. Oh my goodness. We're skipping ahead. European Commission briefing on several topics, including U.S. tariffs. Of course, they're going to be discussing that. And it comes back again about the whole European and Asian stocks nosedive thing.
Oil prices sagged.
Okay, wait, I want to hear that part. I don't know if she got like new information here or what the case is, but I do want to hear it.
And we are following some breaking news on this Monday morning. Take a good look at your screen. This just in from our content partners.
Yo, what's up,
over at the
Brian? Good morning.
Associated Press.
Hopefully you're doing fantastic on this beautiful Monday morning.
As we give you a live look out in Frankfurt, Germany. AP saying you're getting a live look as a new trading week begins there at Frankfurt Stock Exchange, where the DAX dropped up to 5.9% Friday as European shares slumped overall due to what they say is U.S. tariffs and China's retaliation. We have more information. This says global stock markets extended a severe plunge this Monday, fueled by fears that U.S. tariffs would lead to a global economic slowdown. European and Asian shares saw dramatic losses. The leading U.S. index flirted with bear market territory in pre-market trading, and oil prices sagged. The massive sell-off in riskier assets at the start of the trading week follows President Donald Trump's announcement of sharply higher U.S. import taxes and retaliation from China that saw markets fall sharply Thursday and Friday. European shares following Asian markets lower, but we are learning they did recover some ground to move down.
Brother Dwayne, good morning.
In morning trading. Now, U.S. futures signaled further weakness.
Oh, man, real quick. And Tats over there across the pond. Good to see you hanging out with us, by the way, all the way over in the UK. Good morning to you. Hopefully everything is going well. Or
for the
good
S&P
afternoon.
500, they lost 3.4%, while for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, they shed 3.1%. Futures for the NASDAQ lost 5.3%. Now, if pre-market futures losses materialize when the U.S. market opens, the S&P 500 will enter bear market territory.
Yeah, apparently, I guess it bounced back like 300 points or something crazy, David, but I don't know that to be 100% true yet. That's something I'm hearing already. Steve Posey was the first one to say something about it.
It's defined as a fall of more than 20% from the peak. The index was off 17.4% as of the end of last week. Friday, the worst market crisis since the COVID-19 pandemic shifted into higher gear.
Yeah, no kidding,
the
Papa.
S&P 500 plummeted 6%.
No kidding.
And the Dow plunged 5.5%. The NASDAQ composite dropped 3.8%. Late Sunday, President Donald Trump reiterating his resolve on his decision to introduce tariffs of 10% to 50%. This on goods.
Hell yeah, brother OB. I very much appreciate you. Listen, this is the Discord, man. It's a great place for us to continue the conversation after the show. And all of us are like family, man, for real. And so it's awesome to see it could be 2:00 in the morning and there's people in there just having a great time exchanging pictures or conversation. It's awesome, man. I'm super blessed to be able to have that. Be careful, Mike. If you pick up strays, sometimes you can't get rid of them. That is true, especially if you feed them.
Imported into the U.S., a move seen as massively disrupting world trade and supply chains across borders. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One, President Donald Trump said he did not want global markets to fall, but also that he was not concerned about the massive sell-offs, adding, quote, "Sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something." Heavy selling.
What's up, Trigger Warning? Good morning.
China Friday matched President Donald Trump's tariffs, upping the stakes in a trade war that many fear could end in global recession. Even a better than expected report on the U.S. job market, usually the economic highlight of each month, was not enough to stop the slide. So we can.
Yeah, don't be doing no panic selling, everyone. You know what I mean? Don't listen. This is financial advice. Don't be selling your shit. You know what I mean? As Papa Penguin says right now, the time to buy stock, if you have the cash, is now. This tariff stuff will absolutely pass. And it's chance to get into some dividend paying stocks super cheap. Absolutely. I do agree with that. And I also agree with that too, David, as long as it's I don't really like those outdoor cats. I'm going to be honest. I like indoor cats.
Continue to follow this breaking news alert as we give you a live look out in Frankfurt, Germany on this Monday morning. This is a new trading week begins. You're getting
No worries, brother Dean. Thank you, man.
Stock Exchange. We'll continue to keep a close eye on the market here on Live Now from Fox, of course.
Yo, crazy mama. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Good morning to you as well. Hopefully you're doing fantastic.
New York Stock
Enjoying your Monday.
Opens. We'll make sure to share that with you in real time. We're going to go ahead and
Hit
step
the
away
Discord.
for our final 2-minute commercial break of the hour.
No, fuck your commercial break, yo. All right, they're continuing this story as we come back regarding the whole China accusing us as bullying, which, like Papa Penguin said, that's calling the pot or the kettle, whatever, black. You know what I mean? So pot calling the kettle black. That's what it is. Boom. Back to this.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. Before the break, I was sharing with you some breaking news as European and Asian stocks nosedive this Monday as China accuses the U.S. of bullying as it relates to the U.S. tariffs. Early this morning, before we came on the air,
because Alabama,
a look out in China, the Chinese Foreign Ministry officials, they gave a briefing addressing the U.S. tariffs. I want to play that for you now.
Why do you have a hard time signing into Discord? It's just a username and password. Just like anything else. Are you serious? Are you really going to be giving us this where none of us are going to be able to understand?
The
U.S. recently announced the tariff hikes on all trading.
Ah, hell no. They're using like an AI translator.
China and the ROK are close neighbors.
There we go. That's actually a real one right here.
And cooperation partners. China's policy on the ROK maintains consistency, stability, and certainty.
That's right. That's right. My birthday's coming up April 11th, so it's real close.
And ready to work with the ROK
to
cherish the commitment made when establishing diplomatic ties, uphold good neighborliness and friendly ties, work for mutual benefit, and promote...
From Bumbly, good to see you as well. He says, now this is when you buy. Exactly. I agree.
...sound and steady development of the strategic cooperative partnership. Next one, please.
Damn, 94.
Global Times, according to reports, Chinese experts conducted another independent sample collection for the nuclear contaminated water from Fukushima nuclear power station in February, and the test result has been obtained. Could you share more information on that? According to what we learned from relevant authorities, Chinese research institutions have completed tests and analysis of China's independent sampling in February, including that of seawater and marine life in the nearby waters of the Fukushima nuclear.
Yeah, a lot of people, especially out, anytime you're in a rural area, a lot of people have indoor cats and barn cats. Yeah, they actually serve a purpose.
Power station. No abnormality was seen in the activity concentration of radionuclides, including tritium,
crazy.
cesium-134, cesium-137, and strontium-19. And later on, the statistics will be submitted to the IAEA and be released.
Well, brother Dwayne, you can have it on your computer, or you can have it on your phone too. Like, I don't care if you have an Android or an iPhone. I use it on my phone. So real quick, just so you can see for all the people that also don't use it, I got it right here, and it's right there on your phone. And you can go through all the different servers and all that right there. So just so you know, I use it on my phone majority of the time. All right, back to this.
Like we stressed
What
repeatedly,
up, neighbor guy?
no abnormality
Morning.
in one single test doesn't mean any test result will be normal in the future. During the recent China-Japan high-level economic dialogue, the Japanese side reiterated it accepts long-term international monitoring and independent sampling and monitoring by China, and confirmed that.
Well, no problem. Just recover your password. I mean, I do that shit all the time.
The above-mentioned
write it
monitoring
down.
activities will be carried out on a continuous basis. China's opposition to Japan's discharge of the nuclear contaminated water has never changed. We will continue to work with the international community, including the IAEA and other professional agencies, to urge Japan to honor its commitments and ensure that the discharge of the contaminated water always remains under strict international oversight.
Okay, I'm done with these guys. That's enough with this whole story. Okay, so Israel hits with a 17% tariff by the US. So let's go ahead and get homeboy right here. He's from I'm trying to remember, the Jewish News Syndicate. So this will be, and I think that's the guy. We'll see here in a second. I believe it is. But I guess there's no one better to speak about that than probably him.
Tuning in, I'm Gina Francine. On this Monday, we're keeping a close eye out
because we slapped a 17% tariff on them, and there was even questions. I forget who they asked the question to over there in Israel, but it was, I forget who it was, but yeah, it's like, listen, man, the U.S. has got to do what they got to do type thing. Oh, it was David Menser yesterday. That's what he said.
Out in Washington, D.C., giving you a live
or
look
not
at the
yesterday,
White House.
on freaking Friday.
So as we are anticipating today that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will visit Washington and discuss U.S. tariffs imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump, among several other issues. A lot to dissect and discuss, so we want to bring into the conversation CEO and Jerusalem Bureau Chief of Jewish News Syndicate, Alex.
I was correct. It was the dude from the Jewish News Syndicate.
Trayman. Good morning to you, Alex. Always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Good morning,
Call
Janae.
him out, Crazy.
I'm
Call
doing
him
well.
out.
Thank you for asking. So as we begin this discussion, I actually want to show the viewers the latest from the Prime Minister of Israel.
Allegedly.
We both see it there on the screen. It's the latest tweet via X. It says, quote, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met this evening at Blair House in Washington with U.S. Commerce Secretary and U.S. Trade Representative. It goes on to say the meeting was warm, friendly, and productive. So, Alex, you are actually
So, as you guys can see, Netanyahu is over at the Blair House in Washington
with the Israeli Prime Minister during this visit. You all arrived late Sunday. Talk about what that visit has been like so far, please.
Well, first we were in Budapest, Hungary for meetings with Viktor Orban, where Orban announced that he was going to withdraw.
I didn't know that was happening, Dean. Okay, so Dean says, just in here, new deal proposed by Egypt, 40 to 70-day ceasefire for 8 live hostages released one at a time for the period of 8 days. Wow, man, that's crazy. OB Joe says, man, 30. I was jumping out of airplanes for a living when you were born. Thanks for making me feel old. Yes, sir. Born 95, man. Born 1995. Yes, sir. We're out here doing our thing, man. All right, back to this.
From the International Criminal Court. It was probably the only location that Netanyahu could safely touch down in Europe without threats of arrest due to the faulty
yes, you have to have an account in order to join a server. Now, there's a difference between joining a server and just seeing the invite, and that's it. Like, you have to create an account to be in a server.
Arrest warrants that had been issued by the ICC.
What I would say, Bob, is just make a whole new account. Who cares about the old one? Just make a whole new one so that you can start fresh. Boom, you know exactly what you're doing. And I can help you too, you know.
And while we were in Budapest, we got the announcement that the Prime Minister was going to come to Washington today. It had not been pre-scheduled in order to meet the president to deal with many issues, including the war in Gaza, potential war with Iran, but also.
We got Brother Stacks up in here as well. Good morning to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning as well, man.
Oh shit! Oh
Yes, sir.
Most urgently,
Make sure you guys hit
probably,
that like button, please. Goes a long way.
this issue of tariffs, which are affecting nations all around the world, including Israel.
Alex, we can first start off with the tariffs. Let's discuss how U.S. tariffs and the decision from President Donald Trump are impacting Israelis this morning. Many might not understand the trade component of Israel and the U.S. because a lot of eyes have been on the
Oh my fucking God, Cord. Mike's dirty leg. What's up, cuh? Good morning to Mike's dirty leg.
in Gaza.
Well, Israel is known as the startup nation, and much of what it exports to the world is technology. American companies are Israel's number one buyers. So the United States is Israel's number one export market. And there was an announcement that there would be a 17%.
Yes, sir. They're straight now. That's funny.
Tariff on Israeli products. And that came just days after Israel had announced that it would eliminate all tariffs on U.S. goods in Israel. It's not clear if that memo was passed and calculated in advance of the major press conference announcing those tariffs. But Netanyahu himself was Israel's economic attaché to the United States, also Minister of Strategic Affairs and former ambassador to the United States. Ron Dermer was also previously an economic attaché to the United States. So they are definitely steeped in the economic costs of the tariffs. And I think that Netanyahu wanted to take a bold world leadership position to be the first world leader to come and address and negotiate.
Yeah, I actually missed exactly what happened to Steve too. Like what is currently happening. I must have missed it too. I was gonna text him after the show as well as Red. You know what I mean?
Tariffs issued with the president.
And we know that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin
He said graduated 95, dick. That's funny. I was born 1995 and graduated high school in 2013.
He has been in the U.S. previously. This is actually his second visit since President Donald Trump has returned to the White House for another term.
Yo, what's up, Aaron? He says, I'm here also. Good to see you, my man. We got a lot of shit going on in the news, as you can see right now.
How does he feel about this visit? Any discussions that you've had in close corners, Alex, that you don't mind sharing with the viewers?
Well, certainly, as you mentioned, this is not Netanyahu's first visit. Israel's not an immediate neighbor of the United States like Canada or Mexico. So to come over here is a significant amount of time invested. And Netanyahu was the first of all world leaders to be in the United States after Trump's inauguration. And now he's the first leader to meet the president a second time. I think many leaders have yet to meet the president. And it's very important for Netanyahu to establish just how close the two countries are working together, because, of course, while trade tariff issue is the number one concern now for most countries around the world, Israel's still engaging in a war on multiple fronts. The United States is involved in hitting.
I have not seen that, by the way, OB.
An Iranian terror group, the Houthis in Yemen, that have been firing ballistic missiles at Israel. Just yesterday, Hamas.
Oh, he's in the hospital right now. You guys think it's a blood clot? Damn it, man. That totally fucking sucks. That's terrible.
Fired 10 rockets on Israel, injuring one person. The ceasefire in Lebanon is threatening to break down, and there's a big question as to whether Israel and possibly the United States together may coordinate to hit Iran's nuclear facilities at some point in the coming days or weeks.
Yeah, and that's the perfect segue. Obviously, we just discussed what that conversation could potentially look like.
Yeah, super busy one this morning.
U.S. and also with Israel today as relates to the.
It's really hard to condense all the entirety of the world's news in an hour per day. It's really hard to get that condensed. So I try really hard to not overspeak and allow a lot of, obviously, what we're tuning into.
But a lot of eyes are on what the conversation will look like as it relates to the conflict in Gaza. But as you put, the conflict with the Yemen Houthi rebels, we've also seen conflict out with Hezbollah out in Lebanon. What do you think the Israeli Prime Minister is hoping to accomplish with those conversations? Obviously, families out in Israel still holding on to hope that those remaining hostages in Hamas captivity will be released.
Well, I think that you're seeing the biggest shift in policy from the Biden administration to the Trump administration with regard to how
That's
the war
true.
is conducted inside Gaza. Just in the last several days, Israel has announced that it's taking a much more aggressive tenor toward a renewed military operation in Gaza. Israel's now working to divide the Gaza Strip into several different regional components, creating new military corridors that actually divide certain cities from each other inside Gaza. And it looks clear that Israel's preparing to have a military.
Yo, what's up, brother Pitbull? All the way across the pond as well over there in the UK. Good morning to you, man. He says, remember to rev the like button and drop the clutch on the share button to will spin the show out of here. Hope you're all okay and having a great start to the week, man. Yeah, you too, man. Always appreciate you hanging out with us.
Rule in Gaza for a significant period of time. The last time Netanyahu came to meet the president maybe shocked everybody, including Netanyahu, by stating that all Gazans really should be forced to resettle outside of the Strip, and that even the United States would take an ownership stake in the future of Gaza. And I'm not sure that America is going to take any ownership stake, but still the two leaders are going to be looking for ways to resettle at least hundreds of thousands of Gazans who have.
Thank you for that, by the way, Crazy Mama. I came from the chat years and years ago. I mean, I've been live streaming forever. It's been 18 years this year, but I've always known the importance of your audience. I've always known, because I still am to this very day. I came from the chat, man. So I know how to handle the chat and that kind of extent. I try to have it a two-way street, not just, hey, you are here and you're just mindlessly putting your comment or whatever, and I'm just skipping right over it. No, I try my absolute best to have a two-way conversation.
Expressed
with everyone. I try
interest in leaving the dire situation
thank you.
That they're currently sitting in Gaza.
Alex Trayman, always a pleasure to have you join us here on Live Now for Fox. Thank you so much for the candid conversation and your perspective and expertise on this topic. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I guess welcome back to the U.S. I know you've been here several times.
That's right, Beezer. That's right. I'm fucked. You're fucked. They're fucked. We're all in the same boat. Yeah, that's true. Very, very true.
Thank you. As we further discuss U.S. President Donald Trump.
Man, Evil Rick up in here too, man. Good morning to you. I haven't seen you in a minute. Good, always good to see you, my man.
Trump and that visit today. We know before the Israeli Prime Minister and U.S. President Donald Trump have that discussion,
that's funny.
The president will actually welcome the 2024.
That must mean I'm doing something decently,
World
doing something decently,
Los
right?
Angeles Dodgers to the White House. So that happening before the meeting, as the president is expected to greet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. That is slated for 1 o'clock Eastern time. And then at 2:30, the president will participate in a press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. That happening on the heels of that discussion in closed quarters. Of course, cameras will not be allowed inside.
Mega love,
at 2:30
Papa.
Eastern time, that's when that press conference with the media will happen with U.S. President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Make sure you're staying tuned to Live Now from Fox for all of those updates. 7:15 here on the East Coast. We're going to step aside for a quick
No, we're not stepping aside, dude. I don't know why you keep thinking we're doing that. All right, so now we're going to get a little quote from Donald Trump this morning. I guess President Trump on tariffs amid market plunge, and he's going to be instantly talking about oil prices. So let's go ahead and figure out what is being spoken here.
I'm going to share with you the very latest quote from President Trump on tariffs and the market plunge. He says, quote, oil prices are down, interest rates are down, the slow-moving Fed should cut rates, food prices are down, there is no inflation, and the long-time abused USA is bringing in billions of dollars.
Yo, good morning to Mr. Mister as well, man. Colorado, the only state that turned even more blue since the election, just passed legislation that parents who misgender children will be separated from parents considered a discriminatory act. And I believe that they are doing that exact same thing in California. They just did that.
A week from the abusing countries on tariffs that are already in place. President Trump goes on to say this is despite the fact that the biggest abuser of them all, China, whose markets are crashing, just raised its tariffs by 34% on top of its long-term ridiculous high tariffs, not acknowledging my warning for abusing countries not to retaliate.
Yep.
They've made enough
2006. So I was in 6th grade.
Decades taking advantage of the good old USA. Our past leaders are to blame for allowing this and so much else to happen to our country. President Donald Trump concludes this quote this morning by saying, "Make America great again." We continue to follow the very latest of this breaking news alert as I transition to show you the global market out in Frankfurt, Germany. As we've seen, the Chinese Foreign Ministry, they actually did respond to President Donald Trump this morning, calling him a, quote, a bully.
Good morning, 13.
So as this is happening, again, giving you a live look out in
That's my man right there.
Germany. This is a new trading week begins there at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Now, here in the U.S., we know Wall Street could be facing another day of steep losses as President Trump's new tariffs are about to take hold. As Fox News correspondent Doug Luzader reports from Washington this morning.
What's up, David? Good morning to you too, man.
Standing by
Good morning.
Plan.
Oh boy, here we go.
President Trump says he does not want the markets to tank, but he says this may be the price we have to pay for the fundamental realignment that he envisions. No matter what the language, the numbers are clear. Overseas markets took a beating overnight. That follows last week's big sell-offs on Wall Street with signs that this could be another difficult day.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something.
The president, flying back from Florida last night, talked about the reaction so far to his tariffs.
I spoke to a lot of leaders, European, Asian.
What's up, Chef Couch? Good morning to you too. By the way, I'm going to use the restroom real quick.
To make a deal, but I said we're not going to have deficits with your country.
But pressure may be building. There were big protests against the president and his policies around the country over the weekend. Democrats think they may have found new footing now on economic issues.
I've never seen an administration in my lifetime do something so monumentally wrong and that so staggeringly hurts American people.
And even within the president's inner circle, there may be some dissenting views. Elon Musk saying it may be time to cut a deal with Europe.
I hope it is agreed that both Europe and the United States should move, ideally, in my view, to a zero tariff situation, effectively creating a free trade zone between Europe and North America.
White House senior counselor Peter Navarro says Musk doesn't get it.
He doesn't understand that. And the thing that's, I think, important about Elon to understand, he sells cars. That's what he does.
President Trump meets today at the White House with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and trade is certain to be a top issue. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
All right, Doug, thank you so much for that detailed report. And again, as we are awaiting the New York Stock Exchange to open there along Wall Street in the Big Apple of New York City, taking you back out across international waters to Frankfurt, Germany, and giving you that live look at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Again, world leaders responding this morning. You heard moments ago from the European Commission. You also heard from the Chinese Foreign Ministry. Well, this morning also, European trade ministers, they arrived for a meeting to discuss Trump tariffs. Speaking ahead of that meeting, they did have some comments for the media. I want to play out some of those comments for you now.
Dzień dobry, good morning. Well, we are meeting today really at a momentous moment for global economy. There was no tariffs like we have seen the past week, really for the last 100 years. Tariffs 100 years ago led to worsening of Great Depression, which in the end caused loss of millions of jobs, led to political extremism, and in fact, many historians point to the sources in the Great Depression of international conflict. So this is what's at stake. I hope that we all will learn from history. This is why the Polish presidency of the EU Council has decided to call this extraordinary trade ministerial in order to really hear member states talk with each other and give the European Commission a guidance on how to respond to the tariffs, so-called reciprocal tariffs imposed last week by the United States. They are so-called reciprocal tariffs because we are still trying to understand the exact math and ideas behind it. But it's very clear that there will be no winners in this confrontation. In fact, as you all know and have seen, only over the course of Thursday and Friday, the U.S. stock exchange lost over $5 trillion. Today's market in Asia are showing more losses. So as we will be talking with the ministers, we probably will see a lot more losses, especially in the U.S. Trade and U.S. markets. So it's very much hurting Americans, but it's hurting also Europeans and other countries around the globe. This will be the main point of our discussion, will be the goal. My goal for the Council is to get a good sense from the member states, preserve unity, and give clear direction to the European Commission on their negotiations with the United States. So far, the approach that we have seen is perhaps a little bit too much shoot first, talk later. I hope that we can switch to negotiations as soon as possible, serious negotiations with the United States, because again, the transatlantic economic relationship is the biggest one in the world. It's far bigger than US relationship with China, it's bigger than our relationship with China. What matters the most for millions of jobs in Europe, in the United States, is how we trade, how we invest together, both trading in goods as well as services. The other point on the agenda, also connected, is point on China. Commissioner Šefčovič recently visited China. We want to hear from him. We also will discuss how we will avoid any secondary effects of the potential dumping from China to the EU. So these are the main points. It's again historic moment. Moment where we need to stick together, when we need to negotiate. We regret that United States had decided to go with such high tariffs, again, the highest tariffs we have seen in about 100 years, and we hope to move to negotiation of positive transatlantic trade deal from right now what we see a move that is hurting U.S. economy, but also other economies across the globe. We'll have time for questions after the Council, so I don't want to preempt our discussion. I would rather not answer any questions right now. So I really invite you over for the conversation after the Council meeting.
Thank you, Naomi. Let me check my Cash App right now.
I'm going to now switch to Polish for our Polish journalists. Spotykamy się dziś w Luksemburgu w momencie zupełnie historycznym, jeżeli chodzi o...
Yeah, I'm done with this. Done with it. So Trump tariffs, what they're talking on the headlines here. President Trump says foreign governments will have to pay, quote, a lot of money to lift sweeping tariffs. Europe defense shares set for biggest daily drop since April of 2020. And I believe that was due to COVID. And then Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu visits the White House after U.S. levied a 17% tariff on Israeli goods. So now we're going to go ahead and skip ahead here, and we're going to get into the next ordeal here. As you guys see on the title of this, I put tornado strikes in Georgia. So we're going to go ahead and discuss what is happening here. We're not going to show exactly the lead up to this, by the way, because I think you guys understand how this lead up works until it actually happens. So they confirmed it. See, that's where the headline changed, is where it went from just a tornado warning underway to now it pretty quickly went to confirmed. So it went through, I'm not sure what part exactly of Georgia it went through. Ola? I'm not sure, but Let's go and back it up a little bit. I do want to hear it.
Now tuning into live.
What she says.
Until 8:45 this morning as we are continuing to watch this. So 8:05, they just canceled the tornado warning. So we don't have an active tornado warning anymore, which is to be expected.
All right, so if you're just now tuning into live now from Fox, you heard from the Fox 5 Atlanta storm team that tornado warning has since been canceled.
Yeah, the dude definitely eats the Snicker bars upside down because he likes to get the veiny side on his tongue. Yeah.
But a confirmed tornado did touch down in Georgia right now. They have a severe thunderstorm warning
straight, Doug Ross.
underway. Here at 8:06 on the East Coast, you are getting a live look there downtown Atlanta, and you can see
that's right,
windy
Trigger.
conditions as well as wet and slick conditions as it is raining. They say that the area will continue to see thunderstorm conditions throughout the day, and they are not ruling out potential straight line winds because of the wind gusts that will continue to accumulate this morning. If you're just now tuning in, I want to share this with you. This coming from another storm team.
So south of Atlanta, Georgia, a confirmed tornado near Sunnyside is going to pass just south of the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So at least now we know where it happened. The cam shows torrential, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but rain. Take cover, Sunnyside,
Fox 35 Orlando
Georgia.
team, as all of our meteorologists work together across the Fox television brand at 7:38 this morning. And you saw
There's
it,
so much
right
weather
live
here.
now from
Look at that
Fox.
shit.
South of Atlanta, Georgia, a confirmed tornado near Sunnyside going to pass just south of the Atlanta Motor Speedway. The camera showing torrential rain. Take cover, Sunnyside, Georgia. Again, this courtesy of Fox Weather. Excuse me, Fox 35.
Yes, we gambled. Well, he gambled on ourselves essentially, and I think in the long term, I think it's a very good thing. In the short term, there's a lot of sacrifice, as you can see.
Meteorologist Brooks Garner, and you can see with that video on your screen the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now, we'll tell you, Atlanta, the Georgia area, not the only area dealing with severe weather.
XTOS. Hey, XTOS, good to see you, man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning. Let's go ahead and skip ahead. As you guys know, that already, the tornado already happened. So, but at least I was able to locate where it is.
Welcome back to Live
All
Now.
right, here we go. More breaking.
Good morning to you if you're just now tuning in. I'm Gina Francine. This Monday, we are following some breaking news. I want you to take a good look at your screen. This coming into our Live Now from Fox Studio, courtesy of the Associated Press. They report Jay North, who starred as the mischief.
That's right, Chairman of the Board. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. We got Charlotte up in here, man. Good morning to you. And hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far, but always stoked to see you. All right, back to this. So Dennis the Menace, star Jay North, dies at 73.
He's Dennis the Menace.
Rest in peace,
man.
4
seasons, starting back in 1959, has died. He was at the age of 73. North died Sunday at his home in Lake Butler, Florida, after battling colon cancer. This being confirmed to the Associated Press.
Colon cancer, man. I've lost family to it. It's terrible.
A longtime friend, and also by his booking
agent.
It's
so violent.
North was 6 when he was cast as the smiling troublemaker in the CBS sitcom adaptation of a popular comic strip that took place in an American suburb. Often wearing a striped shirt and overalls, Dennis's mischievous antics frequently frustrated his retired next-door neighbor, George Wilson, played by Joseph Kearns. Dennis's patient parents were played by Herbert Anderson and Gloria Henry. The show ran on Sunday nights until it was canceled in 1963. After that, it was
Brother Lee, good morning to you, man. I was hoping that I'd see you. We're pretty close to the end because we're gonna end off with David Menser, by the way, but we're not gonna do the entire ordeal speech. We'll just go ahead and let him do his monologue that he usually does, because there is a lot to discuss this morning regarding Gaza and as well as the 17% tariff that was imposed on him. I do want to hear what he has to say on that. We got Brother Ghost Eagle up in here saying, I am a legend loser. I do not like the show. I love it. Yes, sir. I love that. Good morning to you, kind sir.
For decades in syndication. Well, later, North appeared on TV and shows including
Damn,
The
Dwayne,
Man
for
from
real?
UNCLE, The Lucy Show, My Three Sons, Lassie, and The Simpsons. Also in movies like Maya, The Teacher, and Dickie Robert, former
Hell
child
yes.
star.
That's awesome.
North is survived by his third wife,
Kingston,
Cindy,
my man. And yeah, totally. And that's actually something that I've never actually watched, by the way. I've never watched Dennis the Menace.
and 3 stepdaughters. So again, this just into our live now from Fox Studio. Dennis the Menace star Jay North has passed away at the age of 73. As we get more information in about potential viewing services and arrangements.
No, Doug, actually it's fairly beautiful. It's super calm, no wind right now. A little overcast, but it stopped raining when I woke up. So there was some rain last night, but it was very light. It wasn't anything bad at all.
That are brought in from his
Thanks
family.
for caring, though,
to share
Doug.
that with you here on Live Now. Stepping away for another 2-minute commercial break. We'll
No,
be right back.
no, woman. All right, let's go over to David Menser and see what he has to say real quick, and then we'll send you guys off to a raid. As I do this, I'm going to start looking to see who's live.
David Menser, Israeli government spokesman for the National Public Diplomacy Directorate here in the office of the Prime Minister this Monday, the 7th of April. This is day 549 of the October 7th war, precisely 18 months since this country was attacked. I'll provide a quick update here and then we'll take your questions. Please remember to put your questions in the chat together with your name and your news outlet clearly labeled. Let me start today with an operational update from Gaza. Last night, at around 9 p.m. local
We found
time,
someone.
rockets and projectiles were identified crossing into Israeli territory from central Gaza in the area of Deir al-Bala. This is an area with almost...
Yo, what's up, Kitty? Good afternoon to you, even though it's morning over here. But across the pond in the UK, definitely. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday afternoon so far.
No IDF action. We haven't attacked there, but it
Dragon
was from
Classy.
there that
Good
rockets
morning.
were fired and hostages have been held. Most of the projectiles were successfully intercepted by our Air Force. Israel will not tolerate the launch of rockets at our population centers. They are designed to kill. We will remove any threats to our citizens. The IDF destroyed the launcher from where the rocket was fired. Where the rockets were fired. Israel is operating against the Hamas terror organization and other terror organizations throughout Gaza with increasing intensity.
Damn, that's a good one, Pablo. I like that one. He says, what does a tornado warning and a redneck divorce have in common? In either case, somebody's about to lose their trailer house. Shit. All right, back to this.
Israel is destroying terror infrastructure. We're eliminating terrorists, including over the weekend, the military commander in the Palestinian Mujahideen terrorist organization who infiltrated Kibbutz Nir Oz. And it was him. It was him that oversaw.
For for the AR, I actually have a harness. Yeah. But for the AR, yes. And then for my brand new pistol, the G48, that's obviously got a holster. It's got T-Rex arms holster, and with the side, which is really nice to be able to carry an extra mag in the holster. And it's got a hinge, so when you're wearing it right here in your front area right here, it actually bends with your body, which is super nice. You know what I mean? Anyways, back to this. Appreciate you.
The abductions of Shiri, Kfir, and Ariel Bibas, and was most likely involved with their murder. His name was Mohammed Awad. Awad was also responsible for the abductions and the burial of Gad and Judy Lynn Weinstein and of the other Thai citizens who were taken hostage. And also in Gaza, Israel is reorganizing the area.
Oh, really? You saw me on my side, Kitty? That's awesome that you saw it over there.
Already, we've eliminated senior terrorists, operatives, commanders, as well as munitions and infrastructure to restate Israel's war goals. They are, of course, firstly, to return all of the hostages, both the living and the deceased, 59 in total.
Yeah, well, we covered him on Friday. he had a small little ordeal, little press conference or whatever, doing this right here. We did that Friday, but we haven't seen or heard from him for like maybe a week, which is kind of unusual. I mean, when shit is going down, he is kind of on it, like within that day, next day, whatever. So he's up there always speaking, to be honest.
Remain in captivity, the live and those who have already been murdered by Hamas, the elimination of the military and governmental capabilities of the Hamas terrorist organization.
Yeah, I warned you. I warned everyone in the beginning, Red, but luckily we're not going to go and stick all the way through with all of this. I do want to hear his monologue, though. It's important.
And the removal of the terrorist threat from the Gaza Strip. 18 months
That's
to
awesome.
the day into this war.
Hey, I like that, by the way. He says, give Straight a shout out for purchasing a board to help fund the Mike Ball bar top. Yes, sir. Big shout out to Straight, man. Humongous W. So thank you guys for getting involved with that with Lee, man. He makes a great product. So make sure you guys, if you guys are interested in like cutting boards or anything like wood, made shit that's woodwork, he is the guy. So make sure you guys contact him. Definitely. He's in the Discord. Make sure you guys join into the Discord as well if you haven't already. Most of us are already in there, which is fantastic. So anyways, back to this.
It could have ended a long time ago if Hamas would release all the hostages and
No,
surrender.
no kidding.
But Hamas
But they're not going to do
and
that.
the other terrorist organizations refuse, meaning that every casualty on both sides of the border should be laid firmly and squarely at the feet of the terrorists.
Around the YouTube streets. I love that, Kingston.
Next to the latest psychological terror videos released by Hamas of our beloved hostages, Bar Kuperstein and Maxim Herkin, this is the first sign of life from both of them for 18 months. That is unimaginable cruelty for these men and their families and their friends and for our entire nation. Holding these hostages captive in horrific conditions under constant danger to their lives.
Man, I've been doing fantastic, Doug. I've been enjoying my this weekend, the end of my week. Yet last week was fantastic and a very good start to this week. I'm just a little tired today, but I'm nothing a nap after the show can't fix. You know what I mean?
And in violation of international law, Israel is committed to
Thanks for asking, though, Doug.
Home. Next.
No, right now, Pablo, let me go ahead and see. I'll just go ahead and give you guys a temp update. Let's go ahead and look it up right now. We are sitting at 49 degrees today, and the high today is 55 degrees. So it is a lot cooler than it has been because it's actually been like 82, 83 degrees over the weekend. It was fucking hot. So now it's kind of fluctuating a lot.
To Lebanon, Israel will not allow terrorist organizations to operate against this country
right,
from
Kingston.
Lebanese territory. I can confirm over the weekend, the commander of Hamas's western sector in Lebanon was eliminated. He promoted terrorist activity against IDF soldiers and Israeli citizens.
No kidding,
he
Kingston.
was
You're right.
responsible for launching rockets at Sfat, the same rockets that killed an IDF officer, a soldier, and injured other soldiers.
Holy shit, OB. He says the South has some fucked up storms, and yes, they do. Absolutely. Especially what he's about to say right here with the lightning. Lightning is insane here. He says, my buddy got hit by lightning and was killed during a training exercise at Fort Chaffee, Arkansas. I don't know how to pronounce that place, but damn, OB Joe, that is terrible. That's like a super, super rare thing to happen, man. And unfortunately, it killed him, man. That's fucking terrible. I'm sorry to hear that, OB. How long ago was that?
And finally, as you know, the Prime Minister has arrived in Washington, D.C., the strong alliance between Israel.
He came in earlier, Lee, this morning. He said, hey, I'm super busy, but just wanted to show my love and support, blah, blah, blah. And and that was it. But he's around.
And the US is stronger now than it has ever been. And it's, of course, based on shared worldviews and values. Israel thanks President Trump and his administration for their unyielding support for.
So he's continuing, just like they did on Friday. I believe that's when David Mencer actually got questioned in the media on the back end when he takes questions. I think that someone asked him from whatever media outlet regarding the tariff thing, and he actually spoke fairly good about it. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Israel, as well as their steadfast commitment to the issue of the hostages and the fortification of Israel's security.
That's so funny.
All the while striving for peace and stability in the Middle East. The Prime Minister will meet this evening, Israel time, this afternoon, US time, in Washington with US President Trump. The two will discuss a number of important security issues and policy issues. Among them, of course, the effort to get our hostages home. First and foremost amongst them, the war in Gaza, the Iranian threat.
Hey, man, I get the feeling, Doug. No kidding. It's go make sure you get that money, my man. You know,
Israel-Turkey relations, as well as the issue of tariffs. On the issue of tariffs last night, the Prime Minister met with U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, together with U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer. The meeting was described as warm and friendly and productive. There is indeed a long line of world leaders.
Make that paper. That's right, Papa. That's funny.
And Israel is proud to be the first. Okay, that's the end.
Okay, so real quick, Red says Lee, he went to the hospital this morning via ambulance. I didn't know he went in the ambulance either. Holy shit. We think it's another blood clot, waiting for an update now from him or his old lady. Yes, Red, make sure you please, after the show, text me updates, please. I would really appreciate that.
Our briefing here today. I will now take your questions.
Oh, man, Obi Joe, I'm sorry, man. That sucks.
Together with your news outlet, and we will take them. First question is from Alistair Bunkle from Sky News. Let me read your question here. The IDF initially claimed that 8 of the 15 medics were killed were Hamas. This is now being revised down to 6.
Damn, 91. That's way too hot, Beezer. Especially during springtime, man. Fuck that. 91 and humid, I can guarantee it down there. Yeah, fuck that. Legitimately. I would way rather it to be my temp right now than dealing with that. That is way too hot.
Given that the initial reports about the ambulances not using their emergency lights
come from California, where it's 70 every day,
exposed as false, and the lack of any evidence provided so far to prove some of the medics were Hamas, why should we conclude that they're anything but innocent medical and aid workers? And you've also asked what steps have been taken by the IDF whilst the intelligence investigation proceeds. Have soldiers been been withdrawn from duties in Gaza? Thank you for that question, Alistair. Alistair, there's an issue which I almost never see reported in international media, and that is the fact that it is a matter of public record.
That's terrible.
That Hamas have on many occasions, many documented occasions, used ambulances as a cover. What sort of cover? To transport terrorists, to escape from Israel's forces, abusing the very notion of emergency services. Just like the boy that cried wolf in Aesop's fables, Hamas have been abusing emergency services.
I hear.
And that is the real essence of this issue. But on the reports about the attack on aid workers in Rafah, whilst on a stakeout against terrorist activity, IDF soldiers opened fire from.
No worries, Kitty. Welcome back. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys hit that like button. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Listen, I ask you guys to do that one thing for me. It helps out. And, you know, I don't ask you guys to send in money or anything, but I do ask you guys to go that extra extent and hit that like button, man. Thank you, guys.
A distance at vehicles that were moving suspiciously in their direction. Among the dead were 6 Hamas terrorists.
That's right.
What were Hamas terrorists
doing
in ambulances? The incident was reported in real time to UN officials. The IDF is conducting an investigation, as you know, into the circumstances of the incident that took place 2 weeks ago. The Hamas terror organization systematically violates international law by taking over civilian facilities and infrastructure, including hospitals, schools, and mosques.
Yeah, that's right. You don't have to like the world's fucking madness, right, Naomi? But you can hit the like for Lucy. Absolutely. Facts.
Cruelly exploiting and placing the civilian population in Gaza at risk by using it as a human shield.
Mikey likes it. That's true,
for
Trigger.
its actions. So with this ongoing investigation, I'll leave that answer at that. The results of the
I think that the people that think that we're invincible, I think that's ignorance and arrogance at the same time. I do think that, just like anything, no one's bulletproof. Yes, I believe that we could be invaded by somebody. Yes, I do believe it. Now, is that like a high probability? No. Geographically, just where we live geographically is a very, very safe space. You not only are we in the, whatever, we have Mexico and Canada right in sandwiching us, as well as there's no other countries around. So you only have the Pacific Ocean, you have the Atlantic Ocean on each side, and then you have the Gulf, right? But geographically, I would say it would be very, very hard, but still they could. I think that anybody, I think no one's safe type of thing. So stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Of the investigation should be released shortly. Next question is from Joel Pollack at Breitbart News. What is Israel's response to Iran's implication that it will
Kingston,
not
wow.
negotiate with US President Donald Trump? And your second question is it Israel's impression that Iran is retreating from Yemen and the Houthis,
Holy shit,
as the
Kingston.
media have reported? Thank you very much for that question, Joel. Look, when it comes to Iran, we have often stated our position.
And that is very true, Obi Joe. And that's the one thing that, like I said, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And I mean that for the citizens, not no fucking government. Absolutely. Fuck around and find out, motherfuckers. Facts.
On Iran, we've said that Iran is, as our Prime Minister has made clear, over the many years, Iran cannot be allowed to achieve.
Oh man, the pleasure is all mine. I'm the one that's honored always, man. Hopefully, we get some good news from you, man, and make sure to let the Discord know as well if you can. I know you're dealing with a lot, but if you can, I'd really appreciate that. We all love them.
A nuclear weapon. Israel is focused on that issue, and I know that the US is as well.
Hardwire
President
true.
Trump agrees with this. Israel supports President Trump's maximum pressure campaign. It was working before it was interrupted. That means crippling sanctions and also a credible military threat to counter Iran's nuclear ambitions. The strategy deterred Iran until the pressure was removed. So Israel welcomes the restoration of the maximum pressure campaign. President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu see eye to eye on the Iranian nuclear threat. These maximum...
Yo, Danny, my man, good morning to you. He says, likes from Mike. Absolutely facts. Thank you guys for hitting that like button, by the way. We're almost done, ladies and gentlemen.
Pressure
Hang
policy
in there.
should be restored, as they have been. And it's Israel's long-standing position that Iran must never be allowed to develop nuclear weapons, and Israel will do whatever it takes.
I'm glad he said Israel and not Israel and the United States are going to do everything that. No, you guys, that's your guys' fight. You know what I mean? The United States needs to not fund any of it, not get involved in any of it. If Israel wants to turn that fucking place into glass, let them do it, not us.
Prevent that from happening. And when it comes to the Houthis, we have talked at length about the issues of the Houthis. We've mentioned them many times before.
I like that. So make sure you guys hit that like button. Damn.
Prime Minister's spoken about the three H's of Iran. That is Hamas, the Houthis, and Hezbollah. They are, in essence,
dude.
Iran is the head of the snake, but those three are the fangs, as it were, of that snake, and all of them are associated.
Can't get trapped.
With, Iran. Now, the
Take
terrorist regime in Yemen, the Houthis, which are funded and guided by Iran, they've resumed firing at Israel. Over the past few weeks, the Houthis have fired several times at Israel's population. Let's be clear, these firings of ballistic missiles are intended for mass murder.
You totally caught it. I saw, dude.
of Israelis. That is their intention. But thankfully, they've all been
hell yeah.
intercepted.
High point carbine or and a 40. Man, I love the 40s. I also have a 40 Desert Eagle, Israeli military Desert Eagle. Swear to God. It's funny that we're happen to be speaking on Israel right now, but it's an Israeli military Desert Eagle chambered in 40. Totally rad.
Before crossing into our territory, the Houthi intention is clear: to destroy Israel. We will not accept repeated threats to our existence.
Man, I also have the 10 millimeter Smith & Wesson made, and that shit was used by the FBI and carried by the FBI all the way up until women joined the FBI. And once women joined the FBI, unfortunately, the kinetic energy with the 10 millimeter was too much. So that's when I believe they went to a Glock or something like that. But yep. Love me a 10 millimeter. I love blasting fireballs out of that motherfucker because it's a great round. I love 10.
We will continue to operate with force against all.
Oh yeah. 40 and 10 are the same thing essentially. It's just one has, it's one's heavier grain as well as the bullet velocity is a lot faster.
Threats to our citizens and the terrorist threats from Yemen will be received, which we receive.
That's awesome, Darren. Hey, welcome. Good morning to you, by the way. Sorry that I'm pausing, but I got to say hi to my people. Darren says, hey, Mike, I just noticed someone bought me a membership and just wanted to say thank you and hit the like button. Hope all is well, brother. No, I hope all is well with you, man. And thank you for coming in and saying hi and also thanking who gifted your membership, man. So much love, honor, respect to you, kind sir. D-Rangers are fun. Yeah, I hear you. That is funny. All right, back to this.
Strong.
We're almost done.
Decisive response, as we have
correct.
Done in
by the way, Hardwire, you can shoot a 40 from a 10 millimeter, absolutely, but you cannot shoot a 10 millimeter from a 40. You will end up breaking that barrel, absolutely, blowing that shit out. What's up, Christopher Collins? Good morning.
Okay, if you could just scroll down.
That is very true, and I can go ahead and attest for that. She says, Naomi says, trigger Mike. Mike hasn't had to do shit. I've been spoiling him as I should. That is facts. She's a good woman.
Back to question here from Dan Berger.
Absolutely, it's rare.
From the Epoch Times, Hamas has reportedly revised its death count to reflect that 3/4 of those killed were in Gaza were men of military age, far from the women and children narrative that they've used during this war. Has the government confirmed that Hamas has actually issued?
Real quick, well, since we get the ordeal here, we're already past our time by a long shot. But what I will do is I posted a new post on my Instagram, and real quick, I'll go ahead and show you guys it. And I would really appreciate it if I drop this link right here for you guys, and you guys went over there and not only liked it, but leave a comment, man. Helps with the engagement over there. We already got 580 likes on the post. So if you guys can run that shit up, give you guys your little 2 cents. That's me holding the brand new G48 with the SIG red dot, man. I was not going to buy Chinese bullshit. And it was MOS, so it was perfect just to put on the red dot just like that. No plates needed, nothing. Anyways, I wrote a little thing and I said, there are plenty of people out there that will try to sell you an image, something they are not. At that point, forget the person faking a lifestyle he or she has never lived. What's wrong with you for listening and feeding that person attention? Quote, you got a pistol on your hip, but you'll never use it. Shit. Yes, sir. But this Naomi actually took all these pictures, not yesterday, the day before. And man, I can't thank her enough. She's a great photographer as well. This was a really good shot. Like, this shot is actually low-key my favorite shot right here. This is a great one. And then a little action shot. But yeah, man, I'm totally psyched on that new 40, or that new 48, I meant to say. It's a 9mm. But if you guys can do me that favor, though, and go over there and show a little love to that post and leave a comment, man, definitely helps. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We're going to go ahead and find someone who we can raid. I thought I found someone. I'm going to make sure they're still alive right now. Let's see. I'm just double checking here. Nope, he's the only one that's live right now. So anyways, go ahead and show this man a little love when we go and, raid him. Let him know it's a Mike Ball raid and we're hanging out, having a good ass time, enjoying our Monday. So, ladies and gentlemen, and until tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness, man, I can't thank you guys enough for being here, because you guys could have picked anywhere else in the world to be, but you guys decided to be right here with me. So I'm very fucking honored with that. So listen, guys, hit that like button on the way out. Stick around for the raid, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. God bless everyone. We'll see you guys in a bit.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burns.